What do you do when your boyfriend's best girlfriend makes you uncomfortable? We'll get into that in a bit, but first, my husband, male 41, is being hypocritical and mother-in-law, female 77, agrees with him. I, female 37, feel attacked. When my first was born, my husband, male 41, made a huge stink about posting pictures on social media and sharing them with relatives. I totally agreed and definitely make a point to never post any of my 37-year-old female kids' faces. All I ever post are Instagram stories in a short 1 or 2 second format that disappear after 24 hours, always taken from the back and never showing facial features. My mother-in-law is also in town for the first time and has never been here. She's super religious and made a point that every weekend she must attend church. Sure, okay. I don't attend as I'm of a different denomination, and to be honest, I've tried going to theirs before, and it was not resonating with me. So they went with the kids and got back on Saturday, and they show me a YouTube video, and my kids are in it. It was like a church live stream. Here's my issue. My kids are front and center, clearly faces visible. And I'm seeing this looking at their dad like, wait, how is this okay? I don't say anything at the time and try to let go of it and think, hey, mother-in-law will be gone soon, so this will be over anyways. Fast forward to yesterday, we were all ready for trick-or-treat, and my 3-year-old son was wearing a full astronaut suit with the helmet that had a black visor. I took a 3-second black and white filtered boomerang of him walking by, wearing the helmet, and it's very vague. I even put a huge caption over the visor of the helmet. In fact, to anyone looking would probably not even know that was my kid. Now my husband sees me taking the clip and says rudely, "You'd better not put my kid on Instagram." I'm taken aback immediately as 1, I'm shocked he really after 3 years still thinks I post pics. 2, you just showed me a random YouTube of both of my kids which you never even consulted me on. So I tell him this and he's a bit confused and basically starts to get mad and says, "Get in the house, blah blah, you're not going with us," meaning the 3 of them. And I'm like, oh heck no, I am going trick-or-treating. So we walk down the street and I'm pretty mad and start saying, you need to explain the difference between a clearly edited clip to hide my kid's identity versus this YouTube thing. And he's blowing it off, ignoring me. We don't talk the rest of the night except for him to try to get me to go pretend to be happy and eat dinner with his mom, and I refused. He slept on the couch. In the morning at like 6, I get downstairs and he's alone and basically telling him we need to talk because this isn't sitting well with me and I'm not happy. He says, "I don't want to communicate with you. I'm not talking," and walks off. I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting off work around 7. We need to talk about it then. He runs upstairs and brings the children down. I keep my voice calm and continue to talk and tell him I'm really not happy about last night, etc. He ignores me and talks louder and louder to the kids, clearly like that blah blah, not gonna hear you type of manner. Then I say, look, this is what gets me very agitated. I'm trying very hard to talk to you before I leave and you're making it impossible. Then he says to the kids, "Are you scared?" and quickly rushes them upstairs. Now I'm really mad and I go back up and say, please leave them in the room and come talk this out. He refuses again and I go back down. At this point, I'm just mad and kind of giving up. I'm talking to myself, packing my work bag, and I'm like, you made it so difficult and annoying to try to talk to you like an adult. I guess he heard that and starts yelling from upstairs saying, "Stop yelling in front of the kids." I'm not yelling, you are. Now his mother wakes up and I basically start to tell her the whole issue, and he's running up and down yelling saying, "This is what she does, yells in front of the kids." Again, I say, hey, you're the one moving, I'm standing still here talking. I tell the mom the church thing and show her the YouTube versus the pic I took, and she goes, yeah, but it's church. I'm sorry, I'm the kid's mother. I don't care if it's the freaking lunar landing. My kid shouldn't be on camera if I didn't agree. Or else, do not come and tell me not to take pictures of my own child. Well, the mother-in-law didn't get that, and I pretty much ended up not shouting, but I changed my tone, as I was definitely not happy being gaslighted like that, and to be made to look like I'm some bad mother because my husband can't give me 10 minutes to hash out an issue. So now I'm sitting in my basement, missed my bus to work, and wondering my next move in my own freaking home. I need some advice. I feel for OP because I'm just picturing myself in that situation and it feels almost hopeless. Like, who else do you have that can be a voice of reason to these people who don't believe you and are intent on trying to gaslight you? I mean, how do you even salvage this? This is like beyond even like communication issues. This guy and their mom are two peas in a pod and not in a good way. Also, hi, I'm Steven, and if you guys enjoy tricky relationship topics, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? That said, our next story is, it feels like my 31-year-old male wife, 31-year-old female, is taking financial advantage of me. I'm not sure how else to describe how this feels other than that I was being bullied. My wife and I have long had disputes about finances. I'm a saver, she is a spender. That was especially notable during our wedding planning, which occurred just 2 months ago. We agreed to an original budget of $75,000 for a destination, multi-day event that was blown way out to $120,000 plus. We had about $20,000 of help from her parents used towards the band, a pre-ceremony event, and her dress. The plan was to split everything 50-50, as we do for most things in our lives. However, her lack of savings forced her to max out her credit cards and look to me for the overages. In the end, I spent about $52,000 while she spent $34,000, plus $12,000 in gifts for her bridesmaids on other outfits for the week. When the final bills came in, she couldn't afford them. No savings and maxed out credit cards. So her mom paid a $6,000 bill that she couldn't hit, and I paid $4,000, included in the 52 number above, on our mini moon. She was originally going to cover this since she knew we weren't at 50-50 but since backed out given her position, and for our flight home with our dogs. In her attempted savings for about 8 months now, I've covered about $5,000 to $6,000 in expenses. We would normally split for things like vet visits, home care, friends' weddings, cleaning, etc. We are now entering couples therapy, which is not covered by either of our insurance, so I am at my limit. She's begun a plan to pay off her $20,000 in debt on her credit cards and begun therapy herself, although it's a life coach, not a licensed therapist, which is a great start. However, I have expressed to her how burdened I feel to be handling all these expenses, and now I can no longer do so. She broke down, as usual, and said that once again, I am not supporting her or being there for her like she needs me to be. This felt like pure manipulation. For context, we made relatively equal salaries for a while, but for the past year, she has made $25,000 plus more than me after I was laid off from my tech job, lowering my previous pay by $20,000. So I make a good amount less than her, but am on the hook for our expenses. I don't get it. She has been in a state of depression for a while and has said repeatedly she just needs me to be there for her and to support her. But at this point, I am drained. I cannot take on anymore without breaking myself, but she seems to only view this as me abandoning her. We were in couples therapy, we just started, but man oh man, this feels like I'm on a long road. What can I do? Should I avoid the topic until therapy works it out? Should I break everything out and show her proof of the disparity? I really don't know what to do. Therapy, I think, is a definite good start, but yeah, I think communication, transparency, and staying on top of this would be like the keys to trying to save this thing. Laying it all out, showing what burdens you and her have to deal with, and trying to make sure that you guys can communicate honestly and openly about this and how you honestly feel. As long as you both can have a understanding and a grip on things here, she's willing to collaborate with that, that's definitely your best shot forward. Our next story is, my boyfriend, 30-year-old male, is buying his own house. I, 27-year-old female, am nervous about moving in. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. We've lived together almost 1 year in a house that we both rent. We pay rent equally, about $750 a month each. Recently, a house went up for sale that is right next to our best friend's house, and the seller is offering a good price. The only thing is the house needs to be completely remodeled. I'm not in the market for buying a house right now. We're going to have to live in the house we live in now while he remodels the new house for at least a few months, if not more. I'm just a little worried on how this will change the dynamic of our relationship. I will now become a tenant of my boyfriend and living under his roof. In the past, during fights, he said things like, "This is my house," in the house we are renting, and it's not even his house. I just worry that this will be something he can hold over me. I also wonder if I'll be able to decorate at all or create a space for myself in his new home. He is footing the bill for all the remodels and is going to make the house exactly how he wants. I understand it, it just feels like I'll be a guest in his dream home. I'm also willing to help pay for some of his rent in our current house to help him out while he remodels, and the money I'll be paying him for the mortgage will go towards a lot of his home improvements. I'll never reap the benefits of that money since my name isn't on the house. Not to mention, rent will increase by at least another $1,000 each. I make about $48,000 after taxes and he makes over $100,000. Right now, we're splitting equally because rent is so cheap. But if we move into his house, should I propose we do more of a proportional model? I have a lot of questions, and as much as I'm excited for him, I'm nervous for how things will change. I do understand and want to help contribute to the house payments. I don't expect a free ride by any means. However, I didn't really want to move into another house and pay more in rent. I also just get worried about how, at the end of the day, this is his investment, and if we break up, he takes all that money home. We talked about all this yesterday and he got upset that I had so many questions because he doesn't have all the answers right now. I do know that he'll want me to contribute to the mortgage in some way. Does anyone have advice on how to deal with this? Often I feel it's a common theme in this relationship thing, but communication seems to be a pretty big issue here. OP has all of these concerns and fears about how the bills will be split. Will they be able to do this or that in the house? My question is, how strong is this relationship currently that OP has all of these questions and concerns, and their step is to go ask Reddit rather than actually communicate and just figure these things out? Do they feel unable to bring these things up to their partner and feel validated or acknowledged? I think at the worst, if OP's just afraid of bringing these things up and them being a deal breaker, I don't think it's worth warranting swallowing all of those. And can we point out the obvious? This guy went and bought a house before even actually communicating it to their partner. I get it's going to be his dream house and whatnot, but you think that if you had a partner of multiple years and you're expecting a future with them, I hope, you would communicate that. Maybe OP can get some kind of formal agreement or contract, but I don't know how well that's going to go over. Our next story is, my boyfriend, 25-year-old male, wants to break up with me, 28-year-old female, on how I want to dress. Should we break up? Just some backstory. My boyfriend is the most caring, loving, gentle soul I've ever met. And I don't think we ever came to a point where we were unhappy enough to leave. We've had our ups and downs, and we've come from different cultures, and he has been extremely understanding and patient in my darkest hours, and always cares for me and loves me throughout everything. He is my biggest fan. He never has a problem with anything I do. However, recently I brought up dressing up for Halloween. He lives quite far from me, and told him sometimes I want to dress sexy. I usually dress very modestly, barely have any cleavage out, and don't wear short shorts or skirts. I'm just a regular jeans and t-shirt kind of girl, but on some occasions I feel like dressing up and a bit sexier. And of course, I'd want him to think I'm sexy in it too. When I brought it up, he said it was a deal breaker for him, and that he wouldn't date a girl who dresses in things that would show off chest and butt. I tried to reason with him to no avail, and he said that this is the only thing he won't bend on. I have no idea how to react on this because I thought we're strong enough to weather any storm, but it seems we're reaching a breaking point with this. Should we break up over this? I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to once in a while dress up sexier. If you got it and you want to flaunt it, that's your God-given right, and this guy is being incredibly controlling. You're not saying you want to go out there in the buff, you just want a night every once in a while where you're feeling yourself and have some good, clean, non-threatening to the relationship fun. Our next story is, boyfriend, 30-year-old male, of 3 years, and father of my, 24-year-old female, kid, wants to suddenly practice abstinence. I, 24-year-old female, am confused about my boyfriend's, 30-year-old male, decision to suddenly practice abstinence. Basically the title. Been together over 3 years, have a 6-month-old. Lately he's been digging further into Christianity, but I'm not totally sure this is the reason he's making this decision. Tried asking why he wants to do this, and he says to challenge himself. I am not religious whatsoever, and he's changing the personality that I fell in love with almost daily. I feel sad, mad, and confused. I already feel distant from him and feel unsatisfied and uncomfortable with his answer of challenging himself. Best ways to approach the conversation that we're gonna have tonight? Has anyone had different viewpoints and had a successful life/marriage? I mean, if he legitimately wants to change things in his life, he found something new in Christianity, that's totally his choice, but I think it's also completely fair for somebody like OP who fell in love with somebody who had certain characteristics that when they change, they find themselves just not in love with that version of that person. Could it be a phase? Could it be something extraneous kind of causing them to act this way? certainly could. I think it's important to be open and honest that it's their right and good for them to go down that road, but you don't think you'd be attracted or happy being with that version of themselves. And that's not to try to convince them to change or not do it. That's just to explain how you legitimately feel. This next story is, how do I, 34-year-old male, approach my wife, 34-year-old female, about my feelings towards having another child? Just to give some background, I've been with my wife for 9 years. We met online when I was in the military and married soon after. Before I proposed, we had discussed children, and my view is that I only ever wanted 2 at most. She has a son from another relationship that I've raised since he was 2 years old. His biological father isn't really too involved in his life, and we've bonded and meshed really well together. I love him and treat him like my own. I consider him my son. Our relationship was extremely rocky the first around 5 years or so. There was a lot of arguing and disagreements, especially in front of the kids, which was a huge issue. During that time, due to all of the issues we were having, I tried to present the idea of couples therapy or marriage counseling to help us get on the right track. My wife was completely against it, and I couldn't get her to budge. I was having my own issues as well at the time, as it put me in a bad place mentally. I ended up attending therapy for myself, and she all but made rude comments about me going to sessions. Eventually, I stopped going. During this difficult time, she wanted to have a child in hopes that it would bring us closer. Looking back, I don't think this was a good idea, but we ended up having a son together in 2016. Things settled down for a while, but eventually we went back to having arguments or disagreements regularly. I transitioned out of the military, and we moved to a different city for a job. This brought on some obvious stress. My wife was a stay-at-home mom while I worked to support the family. Finances have always been an issue. She comes from a family where she would tend to get everything she wanted no matter what. I always did my best to get her things and make her happy, as it brought myself happiness to do that. Sometimes that would put us in a bad spot financially, but if I didn't provide material things or vacations, she claims she wouldn't feel loved. I have always been the giver in the relationship, and quite honestly, I don't feel loved or appreciated most of the time. I feel like since I've been buying and giving things constantly have resulted in her having that expectation, and if I don't meet that expectation, it will cause problems. Fast forward to 2021-2022, she's been prescribed medication by her doctor to help her lose some weight. This is fine, as I want her healthy and to live as long as possible for the kids. However, she claims that the reason she's trying to lose the weight is to put herself in a healthy position to have another baby. I've had the conversation with her several times since then, and even most recently this year, that I never wanted more than 2 children. She gets upset and tells me if I don't have another child with her, I don't love her. She went as far as trying to make me promise that I will have another child with her. This blows my mind given all the things I do for her, even on a daily basis. I've made it clear to her that I don't want another child. She tries to tell me that since the one child isn't technically mine, that I can have another child. There are several things that bother me here when concerning a third child. First, I made it clear before we got married that I wanted no more than 2. This was discussed multiple times. I made my stance on the matter known. The fact that she isn't acknowledging that now is really bothering me. Second, we've been struggling with finances even recently. I'm currently paying to put the kids through private school, and that leaves us with not much money each paycheck. It's been hard. I'm at the point where I'm working 60 to 70 hours a week trying to keep up. She's now working at a preschool part-time on her own volition, but she doesn't make much. She expects her money to be her own, and usually has an issue if I ask for help. Gas, food, etc. I cannot see where we can support another person in the household, not to mention hospital bills. Lastly, the fact that she says I don't love her if I don't have another child is confusing. Have I not shown it enough? I try to give her everything, but I see now that may just be one of my flaws. I give too much, and I feel her expectation is I will give in to this as well. Even now, she is continuing like I'm going to have this child with her in spite of the multiple conversations we've had. I know when I confront her, this will be a huge issue. I care for the kids so much, and I would hate for us to fall apart, but I'm not sure I can take it anymore. I've never really stood up for myself or just said no during the course of our relationship. How should I approach this situation? She's so against therapy and claims she will not talk to a third party about our issues. I'm starting to think we may need to part ways, but I don't know how to even begin the conversation or even bring this up. I'm always so fearful of how she will react, even to the smallest things. I've gotten used to just doing what makes her happy to avoid any kind of confrontation. What should I do? Well, I definitely don't think OP should have this kid. I think it's pretty clear OP doesn't want to have another kid, and honestly, with them half admitting that they didn't even want to have their last kid, I think OP needs to learn how to put their foot down. I mean, if it leads to a blow-up, if it leads to a situation where you have to leave, if she can't accept you and support you, I mean, what other option do you have? This next story is my 23-year-old male girlfriend, 22-year-old female, gets upset over small obstacles in life. Hello, I've been thinking a lot whether I should post this or not, but I need some advice. Me and my girlfriend have been together for 6 years. After some time, I started to notice that she has really low tolerance for unexpected or somewhat stressful events in life. She can get really upset over stupid things people say. I can't really get it because I just shrug that kind of thing off. Lately, I came to a realization that her negative and angry attitude towards life impacts my mental well-being. I try to be stoic and accept things as they are, but for her, life is like endless conflict or bad things happening to her. Of course, she is usually sweet and caring, but lacks any tolerance for unfortunate events. Her reactions can also be quite hysterical, including shouting and crying. I came up with the thought that maybe it is about her mental health. I think she might be in a dark place now, and I want to help her, want to take care of her, but that constant battle with the world entire is overwhelming. Do you perhaps have any advice on what I should do? How can I help her get better? If you guys can afford it, I would say therapy. If she's getting stressed over small obstacles to the point of being hysterical, shouting and crying, I would think that definitely necessitates getting some help. In a situation like this, when OP says, "How can I help her?" I would begin to hesitate to say there's anything that OP themselves can do besides guide them towards the resources that can help. Our next story is, should I, 26-year-old female, tell my boyfriend, 27-year-old male, my ex is going to? This is a simple situation. I, female 26, was invited to a barbecue party by some college friends. I'm planning on taking my boyfriend, male 27, of 6 months. The deal is, my ex, male 28, is also going. We were in a relationship for almost 3 years and broke up more than a year ago. We had a rough relationship and breakup, and he tried to get back with me on February of this year. I went out with him like 3 times and decided I didn't want to get back with him. Since then, I have not seen him. My ex is kind of intimidating. He's very tall, muscular, and attractive, and some people I briefly dated before have been intimidated when they met or knew about him. I think the best idea is to tell him, but how can I say it so it doesn't make him uncomfortable or weird? I love him and don't want him to feel bad in any way. Thanks in advance. I think it's probably for the best to mention it and probably try to add a bunch of clarifiers that this isn't to make them worry or to try to make them uncomfortable or make it feel weird, but just you realize that this is going to happen. You want to be upfront and honest so they're prepared, and that's all there is to it, really. I wouldn't hand out like tons of more detail about the ex or how long you saw them or anything. I would just say give them the heads up. Our next story is, my 27-year-old male girlfriend, 24-year-old female, has the mental resilience of a toddler. How do I approach this? My partner and I have been together for 3 years. I would say everything has been great. We bicker here and there, but have never had any major arguments. I do most of the chores around the house, but I enjoy doing them, and while she struggles to help, she does make a good effort that I'm happy with. The biggest gripe I've been having lately is that she'll break down, cry, and throw a tantrum at the most minor of inconveniences. Can't park in her favorite parking spot, or has to park a little further away from the grocery store entrance, cry in the car for 20 minutes and be in a miserable mood for the next hour or so. Gets killed in a video game single player or multiplayer, throws headset or controller and cries. Has to go into work 30 minutes early, miserable the night before. Bank is closed because it's a Sunday, whole day ruined, and will remain mute or barely talk for the next 2 hours. Keep in mind this is only when she's around me, close friends, or with her family. When she's around coworkers or acquaintances, she's completely fine and can tolerate any amount of BS. I could deal for the first year and would usually respond with love and affection, such as a hug or hold her. It slowly became more and more annoying until it's just become such a downer on my mood. It's hard to want to go out or do things with her because I'm always fearing something small will happen that sparks this. What's most frustrating is that after she's done throwing a tantrum, she'll act as if nothing happened, but I'm still stuck in fight or flight mode. I don't know how to tell her that her reactions are overblown and wear greatly on me. Obviously, if something minor sends her over the top, then me saying something like that would be like setting a nuke off. I feel I've coddled her too much from these outbursts, and as a result, she expects it. Please help. Edit. I've taken in all the many responses. After a quick nap, I decided to bring it up and tell her what's going on. She got very sullen, but after I said my part, she admitted that it is an issue and that she feels bad about how it made me feel. She understands that it's not right to doomsday over the little things. She didn't resist and agreed that it would be best to go to a therapist to help her. I've agreed to help her find one. I've dealt with depression for over a decade and used to get into really dark places. And after years of therapy, I'm in the best shape mentally thanks to good therapists. I do understand that she won't become perfect overnight, but I'm confident that there will be improvement, and that's all I really care about. Effort. Anytime I've brought the issue up, she's always been quick to correct it and keep a continued effort. A little housekeeping. Her and I plan on never having kids for our own individual reasons. I'm snipped and get a test done every year to ensure I'm sterile. She's not on birth control or anything like that. Well, I would definitely say the most important thing and the greatest sign is the fact that she's open, she's understanding, and she wants to try it. Because I think almost anybody who deals with therapy and even kind of on the addiction side of things too, you would know that the only way that you're actually going to improve is if you want to improve. Our next story is boyfriend, 27-year-old male, is mad that I, 24-year-old female, didn't spend Halloween with him. Been together for 1 year. My friend, who I hadn't seen in a year, happened to be visiting the city I live in for Halloween and asked if she could stay with me months ago. My boyfriend got really mad that I ended up spending Halloween with her instead of him, but we had never made any plans to spend Halloween together. We're also in a long-distance relationship, live 6 hours apart, and he never said he would come see me for Halloween, and I hadn't seen my friend in so long. He won't even let it go, even though I've apologized for this several times, continuing to say things like, "I guess my feelings don't matter to you." I'm really agitated/bitter about this. Ask any of your friends, they would have spent Halloween with their boyfriends, not their friends. It's made me second question myself. Are these red flags? Is he justified? I mean, I don't know what your relationship has looked like up until this point, but I would figure on events like Halloween, you would want to at least put feelers out and see if you want to hang out with your partner. I do think it's very, very common for holidays or things like Halloween that you would do things with your partner. So my question is, was there any talks from either side? Did he even try initiating anything? I mean, it's one thing to feel slighted about you spending time with a friend, but if he never said anything himself, then he's just as guilty of ignoring you as you are of ignoring him. This next story is my 24-year-old female boyfriend's 24-year-old male best girlfriend makes me uncomfortable. My boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. He has a lot of friends, a lot of which are women. He has one particular girlfriend that says and does things that make me feel uncomfortable. For example, while we were out with his friends, she would get physically close to him and touch his arm. She would also say things like, "Why do you never compliment me?" Or, "Why don't you ever say I'm pretty?" I'm pretty sure she's just joking and not being serious. Maybe that's just how their relationship is, but it still makes me feel weird. How can I talk to my boyfriend about this? So I think those things that they are doing is a little too handsy, is a little too affectionate. I think she's expecting way too much of a friend. I mean, holding their arm and saying, "Why don't you ever compliment me?" I don't think buddies genuinely do that, regardless of gender. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever gone up to a friend, man or woman, and felt an urge as a friend to say, "Why don't you ever say I'm pretty?" Or if I had a female friend, to specifically have an urge to call them pretty, especially when I'm in a relationship, I would just be honest and upfront about it. It makes you uncomfortable and it's way too clingy. Honestly, I would question why he entertains that. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another absolutely tricky relationship topic, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.